red. Okay, so you've got a good balance seeing the reds and the whites. And of course, the Southern Rhone has the climate. You know, it has heat. You know, this is a bit like California in that sense. You know, we're guaranteed sunshine. Okay, so this Walter's. I don't really want to talk too much about Appellation, but just to give you a quick reminder, left 2 buds, okay? And sure as hell, we got 1 more cane here and 1 more cane here. This is a perfect image, and you can see buds here, 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 all the way up this cane. Make your choice. What are we going to do this year?
Leave 2.
Leave 2. So we come along, okay? He's going to be the lowest one will favour, okay, he's going to be cut off here, okay, and this one will be wasted. So we have a new shoot with, I can often take off that one actually just to make sure it doesn't push, okay, so that one's off, I know that for sure, guaranteed. So this one is going to push and this one's going to push the next two. So I'll have 2 fresh canes, okay, each cane gives me 2 primary bunches of fruit. I have set the level.
That's how you limit your yield.
Yeah, exactly.
So there's a direct...
We're interfering with your work.
We have 2 new barrels, but the majority of the barrels on the back, the stained barrels, are all. So let's have a look at that picture and look at the detail. It's a bit like making a sauce in the kitchen. We're using a technique of reducing reduction. Okay? Molecules are starting to really bind together. So the texture of these wines becomes smoother. Also at the same time, because we have this exposure to oxygen, the tannin levels in these red wines get softer as well. So let's rewind to our conversation about yields. The wines that go into these barrels are some of the lowest yielding wines we have here in the country. The best, if you like. Okay? So barrel aging is about softening the wines up, processing the tannin. Of course, some of these wines are going to be very useful for blending with some of the wines over there. And we have to produce our cuvée tradition, first red wine. We have a cuvée grande réserve. We have a cuvée family reserve Syrah, family reserve Grenache as well. So principally 4 wines that we have to blend together.
Now, this first wine you're tasting, who hasn't done first? This wine here. First of all, I'm going to ask you a question. I heard that we have some Canadians as well as Americans here, yes?
Yes.
Where from?
Saskatchewan.
And the Americans, are you mostly West Coast or what?
Washington.
A few West Coast states.
State of Washington. Make some nice wine there these days, particularly in Walla Walla. Nice grapes there. Anybody from Texas? East Coast, presumably. Good. Well, nice to have you all. And Louvain, Red, Viognier, and White Grenache. Right. Now, for each wine, we have what we call a fiche technique, which tells you all about the wine and also what you might pair it with food. Okay. So you're going to get this package information if you wish it. At the end, there's timing to about 12. Every year, we always seem to sell out. We make more rosé every year, but we just can't make enough. I mean, we're not only ones. There's such a demand for rosé worldwide these days. So all we've got left here is magnums of rosé, double bottles. But in the States, we still have 75% of them that size. So one you recognise, right? But when we started doing business with these tours 10 years ago, an American would be standing where you are, sir. Rosé out, he said, no thanks. So I said to him, I know what you're thinking. You're thinking he's in for a blush. It's not the same. All those concrete pads, right? Nothing new about concrete in this region because those are boys who invented concrete, the Romans. They also introduced winemaking here 2,000 years ago, right? And they made the vats. They were like amphoras, shaped like that, made of concrete. They bury them in the ground with just the tops to the air, and that's how they aged their wine. Yes, it was the name of the estate. It's not a very old vineyard because this was until after the war, the World War II. It was forestation here, you see. But then the boys deforested. And this probably is about 80 years old, our vineyard, just 80 years old. But it has always been called Mourchon, Domaine de Mourchon. There is two languages spoken here. One is, of course, French, and the other is Provençal. Right? Provençal is sort of patois, Italian-French. And in that language, the word is Mourchon, which in French means la petite colline or small hill.
Huh. Fascinating.
So we still use it original name. Now, the wine which was in the barrels before, we buy empty, of course, from Burgundy producers, right? Because there's a very good match between what they make up there, Pinot Noir, and our Grenache. So the time we put, excuse me, let me just wind up. The time we put our Grenache in the barrels, they had impregnated with Pinot Noir. So it's, I hope you agree, a good match. Making this wine here, Grand Reserve, grapes on those lines.
And this is the Grand Reserve?
Yes, the Grand Reserve. Although I said, I think this 65 Grenache and 35 Syrah. It's a blend. We're going to taste 100% Syrah and 100% Grenache. The two grapes which are blended together in that wine separate. There you can see what it's out of 10. You see? And friends of mine were often saying, good God, she's beautiful. She's definitely a 9 or a 10. I said, listen, I've never rated anybody more than 7 because you never know who comes around the corner next. Right? And it's the same with wine, you see. You can't give choice for wine.
So what number did you marry?
12.
Smart man!
No, I was very lucky. Only 56 years now.
Wow, wonderful.
What happened was this. My business before this
Thank
had
you.
nothing to do with wine. It was to do with oil and gas exploration, actually. I had a service company supporting oil companies who were searching for hydrocarbons in Europe and the States. We had data centers in Europe and Texas where we would manage information for oil companies like geophysical, geological, engineering data. And so when we put one in Scotland, moved the family up there, and I said to my wife, listen, I've been staying in this small hotel 10 miles north of Aberdeen City. It's for sale, it's got a restaurant, you're a very good cook. Why don't we buy it, you run it, it's your responsibility. You comprends? Comprends? Nous avons un hôtel, on est Écosse, avant ça, oui. Anyway, so, in those days, this is the early 70s, it was a culinary destiny. There wasn't a decent hotel in the whole region. Surprisingly enough, because the resource of food is incredible. You've got all the fish of the North Sea, lobsters, oysters, sea trout in the rivers with salmon in the rivers, red deer in the hills, Aberdeen Angus beef, grouse, partridge, pheasant. You know, there's a lot of resource there. However, there wasn't a decent restaurant. Anyway, I'm bragging. She did an excellent job, because all these Americans and Canadians and Frenchmen, Dutchmen moving, looking for hydrocarbons. And she finished up with 3 restaurants. We bought a lot of wine. And when we sold everything, the family sat down and said, we need to live in warmer climates. Won't we buy a vineyard in South?
Oh, wow. Family.
We've been here for 20 years.
Wow.
Could you speak French?
Before you.
I want to tell you the story. My grandchildren, right? But my grandson, when he was 6, said to me, because they're total bilinguals, said to me in perfect French, Grandpa, when are you going to speak French? I said to him, listen, don't do as Grandpa did. Well, he didn't concentrate during French lessons at school. You concentrate, you know. And now, well, because they live here and speak French all day at school and home with English with their parents. It's different down there in Chateauneuf than here because millions of years ago, the Mediterranean Sea was this far north, right? So we, at 400 meters, would have been on dry land. They, in the valley, would have been underwater. So when the sea went back to where it is today, on the coast down there, it left a lot of sand in the valley. We don't have sand, they do. It's actually to their advantage because it acts as a filtration agent, sand, you see. However, we have an advantage, they don't have. This height, there's a greater depth of minerality in the soil, and that's good for winemaking, minerality.
Ronnie hates this bit, so be gentle.
Speech!
Calm down, she'll pop in a minute. Calm down.
Where's the cookbook? The
So
beets.
Ronnie is excellent, as you know, and she's very humble about it. More than humble, and she's always concerned about the quality and everything. And I always tell her, for myself, I could eat this food every single day. I'm not before.
Good, couldn't you?
Yes.
Well, I hope you enjoyed it.
Oh, absolutely. Thank you.
Oh my goodness.
Absolutely
That's
delicious.
Honestly, you have to tell us about the beets.
So, okay,
The beets, everyone wants to know.
what did you do? Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's orange,
and
orange
you
zest on top.
bake them or
No, I boiled them and then I reduced some balsamic vinegar
Oh my goodness.
and cider vinegar together to make a really strong dressing.
oh, that's
And then a bit of orange
and a little-
Really? Wow.
Yes.
All right. you
Wow.
don't-
Yeah.
How long did the beets sit in the?
Well, I did it last night.
Oh, so
Yes.
It's like they've been pickled almost.
But that's what I was trying to.
Oh,
sort
they
of
were
aim
absolutely the
for.
best beets I
Yeah,
ever
I
ate,
thought-
and I love
Thank
beets.
you. And that's coming from an American. 'Cause
I grow beets.
We
I
don't give
love
out
beets.
our compliments very easily, do we?
And your
so good.
terrine. What
Yes.
was that?
Well, I didn't make that. That was made by a friend of ours who has just opened a restaurant nearby. And I'll tell him. Yes, it's just a mixture of sort of pork and chicken livers.
Oh yeah.
it was delicious. Absolutely delicious. Yes.
Yes,
Very good.
Delicious.
yes.
Oh,
So that's Laurent Terrine everybody's praising. So
Huh.
I'm very happy. Yeah, very good.
And everything.
everything was amazing. Everything was amazing.
Good.
The best meal I've had in France.
This was superb.
Really, really.
Made by a bunch of Scottish people. So, yeah.